It's a month that went from, I don't know how I'm going to fit all this in, to, hey, why don't I go ahead and try to squeeze in this 850-page epic? Let's talk about November. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another monthly wrap-up, this time for the month of November of 2021. A very, very exciting month. We had a holiday in the States here, and that's always going to kind of dictate how things go. But it turns out I found a lot of extra time on my hands. Not necessarily because of that, because I think that I really flew through some of those earlier books as I thought I would, because Blake Crouch books just tend to do that, right? Well, guys, let's do like usual. Let's go through the categories here. First one up is what I read in November. I read 7 books and 5 manga. Now I want to talk about the books first. First is the Wayward Pines trilogy. Now I read Pines in October, but this was books 2 and 3. That's Wayward and The Last Town. And again, like I just kind of alluded to there, Blake Crouch continues to crush it. Now look, this is 5 books I've read from Blake Crouch, and I've loved all of them. Not liked, I have loved all of them. This guy just continues to be automatic for me. I think this is going to become one of my favorite authors. I can't wait to read more from this gentleman. And anything he releases, new going forward, I'm going to be a day one reader for this guy, because I think his books just continue to be amazing. I haven't had a chance to review that trilogy yet, because I'm still trying to think of a way to do it without spoilers, because there are some huge twists and turns in that series. I'd hate to spoil those for you, but yeah, it's just an awesome series. Had a great time with it. I read Life of Pi by Jan Martel. This is one that I'd seen the movie first, and I just loved the movie. The movie just kind of wrecked me emotionally, and I said I want to see if I get the same feelings in the book. Mostly, for the most part, yeah, but the ending really just kind of turns into me being in denial about what's probably true, but I always think it kind of depends on if you're I was telling my wife, I think, well, there's a difference between me, an optimist, and you, a sadist, and she's like, or me, a realist, and you, a pretender. I'm like, well, pretender, okay. So I might have lied to myself a little bit about that ending, but I think it's an ending that has been debated upon quite a long time, and will continue to do so, but a great book, very spiritual journey. I think where the movie kind of leaned more into the survival aspect of it, the book really is about a spiritual journey, I believe. So I think it's a good time to appreciate both those. I think it's a very good adaptation. I just think that some of those themes in the book might hit a little harder for you than they did in the movie, if that's what you are looking for. This one was a finish. I just had to go back and finish The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. I had gotten about halfway through that, and then Sci-Fi September and Spooky Season showed up, and I was like, look, I don't have time for it right now, but I'm not going to DNF it. I just will finish it later. Well, I did go ahead and finish The Dragon Republic, and it's just, I just think that the series just might not be for me. I think what happened there is, I'm real big about, I grew up watching Star Trek, guys, so things like Chain of Command were something that I was always real big on. That book just throws Chain of Command out the window. Every time the lead protagonist just wants to throw a fit, she's just like mouthing off to her superior officers and no repercussion, nothing. And that's just a modern fantasy trope that I can't let go of. It's just not realistic to me. That's just not how military works. So it's something I think that made the character unlikable to me at first. And I was like, okay, I don't have to like your main protagonist to like your series. But it just got to the point where even when the big stuff was kind of popping off in the last half of that book, I just couldn't find myself caring. So I don't think I'm going to be reading book 3, because I just, from what I've heard, it doesn't get better. It kind of stays the course. So, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Popular War just turned out it is not for me. But I do think that R.F. Kuang has a very, very bright future. So I'll say that. For the Crichton reread, did Rising Sun, a book that I think I enjoyed much more at this age, especially working in the business world, than I did as 15 years old and being completely oblivious to all of that. But there's more to it than just the business world. It's the difference in cultures. When you take a culture from opposite sides of the globe and you put them together, it's always a fun story. And I think that, well, I wouldn't say it's fun is probably the right word to use for Rising Sun. Educational is one that I put. I think it's the first one in this read-along where you're not like, hey, after you finish, you're just like, wow, Crichton was really ahead of the curve on all this technology. This is the first one where I think you didn't really have that looking back at it in hindsight. But again, it's nothing that's aged poorly or anything. But probably, like I said, probably one of my bottom third Crichton books. But again, I don't think that Crichton's wrote any bad books. So that doesn't really say anything bad about the story at all. And then, I did find myself with some extra time. And I thought, okay, I'll read Godblind, because I got that scheduled for December. A lot of people that wanted to read that with me are like, whoa, I'm not ready to start that yet. So I said, I got about 2 weeks. What can I fit in now? Thanksgiving holiday with the kids from home also was in that time. So I knew I wasn't going to be reading a ton during that time. But so basically, I had a free week of something to read. So I put it up to a vote on the poll on this channel, what people want to vote for. And you, the reader, voted for Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff by a large margin. I really thought that Emberblade had a shot at it, but Empire of the Vampire was one I've been hearing a lot about. But I went ahead and did that, and I did finish it up, right before, like the last day of November, so we could start our Malazan channel read along on December the 1st. But yeah, it's very surprising I was able to fit in a massive book like that. But I'd say it reads fast. I hate saying that because, guys, it's an 850-page book. It doesn't really read fast. I just don't think that. I think it's one of those books. It's not like a Malazan. It's something where you can read 100, 200 pages in a day, and you don't feel like, I got to go change my brain out now. So I'll put it that way. I do know the people who audiobooked it. They did it really, really briefly. So again, I can never attest to these audiobook things, but I do get a lot of feedback on if the audiobook narrator is good or not. And apparently, this is the same guy who does Faithful and the Fallen, all the John Gwynne books, I think. I think he does all of them except I don't know if he does Shadow of the Gods. I don't know. I have to ask my audiobook crew on my Discord there. And then, of course, Berserk continued the Falcon of the Millennium arc, volumes 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. So I got 5 of those left to finish that very, very long arc after the Hangover, after Golden Age's Conviction, and now we got the Falcon of the Millennium Empire. And so some good and some bad I'm going to talk about when I get there, but I get people every single video want to know, when's that next Berserk review coming? Well, the goal is in December, guys. I plan to read the rest of that arc in December and hopefully get that review up for you by the end of the year. That is the goal. But with the holidays, one thing that's for sure is that nothing's for sure. You never know how the holidays are going to go here. You know what? I forgot one. I think it's because it's nonfiction. And I usually don't try to count nonfiction in these things, but I did read Dave Grohl's autobiography. That's the singer of Foo Fighters, the drummer for Nirvana. I'm sure you've heard of him or seen him somewhere, even if you're not into the Foo Fighters. But the great book. I did a whole video on the channel talking about the book. It's the first nonfiction review I've done on the channel. Just a phenomenal read. If you're just into rock and roll music, I think you'll find plenty to like, because those rock and roll stories that he tells, all the people he meets, his experiences in this lifestyle. So good. And guys, I've read a ton of rock autobiographies. It's probably my second favorite ever, behind only The Dirt by Motley Crue. That's how much I enjoyed it. So I won't include it for Book of the Month because I don't count nonfiction towards Book of the Month or rereads. And I know that some people will be like, well, what are you talking about? That's just how it works, guys. This is a channel that doesn't have a lot of nonfiction fans. I mean, as you can see, I think that video where I reviewed that book is like maybe at like 1,200 views or something. So yeah, I don't count nonfiction or rereads on this. But speaking of Book of the Month, it's time to get into the Book of the Month for November. It's a category. It's always fun. And at the end of the year, I want to go through and compile these for each month and then kind of see, is that my top 10 or top 12, I guess, books for the year? I don't know. I think that'd be kind of fun to go back and look at and see if I felt that way overall, because I did have some really, really tough choices in some of these months. And with this one, it's actually quite easy, I think, believe it or not. Since I'm not counting nonfiction, because I'm not going to count that, or I would say probably the Dave Grohl book, I've got to go Empire of the Vampire. I know, it's a surprise to me too, because this is a book that I don't want to say I went into it kicking and screaming, but I went into it with that, that cautious hand up on it, because the vampire genre, guys, I really started to think, you know what, this is a genre that looks like it's become for like 14 to 35-year-old ladies, and I understand that's not I'm not the demo that they're going for. I get that. It's but I mean, I was a fan of Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles, Salem's Lot, Dracula, things like that. So I've been into vampire stories. I just feel like, the last 20 years, the genre's just been hijacked. So I mistakenly kind of put this one in there with it, because Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, I'd always heard a lot about mixed things about, was it YA, was it not YA? And now that I've read some of them, I can be like, I feel like a fool for believing that this was YA. Very, very adult book. The cussing combinations in this that the guy uses, the bad language, the swearing, it's better than anything I've read. I said I put it up there with like Scott Lynch. I put it up there with Joe Abercrombie in like using just crazy combinations and modifiers with his swearing. And if you're a hooligan like me and you love that kind of stuff, I think you're gonna be happy. But look, very good, incredibly good characters, really good prose. The dialogue is snappy. The storyline is excellent. The world is very, very cruel and punishing, but believable. So yeah, this was just a home run of a book that I couldn't believe how good it was. And it's got where I'm already like, okay, well, Nevernight's going on my 2022 TBR for sure. I've got to read some more stuff by this guy because this is just great. And I'm ashamed now that I've got to wait. I got to wait for book number 2. You know, I don't like to start new series, but everyone tells me he does write really, really fast. And I did see he did an interview with another booktuber. God, was it Book 5? I can't remember the name. I apologize. But he did an interview with that gentleman, and he said that he feels like Empire of the Vampire Part 2 is going to be even longer. So I'm like, okay, wow. So yeah, very long book, but very, very easy to read. Like I said, I did it in a week with full-time work and all that other stuff. So very big recommend. I can't wait to actually do a full review for it on the channel, and I will be doing that relatively soon. But book of the month for November, guys, Empire of the Vampire. I definitely suggest that you pick it up. Now let's talk about a little channel growth in November, guys, and this is where the energy gets kind of sucked out of the room. Look, if it wasn't for Wheel of Time premiering on Amazon, this would have been maybe the channel getting shut down levels of growth. It was a very, very rough month. Look, I did cross 60,000 subscribers, so that's cool. But 1,877 new subs. That's down 676 from October. 304,000 total views, down 41,000 from October, and 55,000 hours of watch time. That's down just 1,000 from October. So those long Wheel of Time segments, I guess, got my watch time jacked up. Now look, obviously I fell out of favor with the YouTube algorithm or something, or hey, maybe my content's just becoming stale. I don't know. You guys tell me. I always try to listen to criticism and things like that to keep things fresh. I've started posting polls and stuff, trying to get people. Okay, I've got 60,000 viewers. Why can't I get you guys to watch some of this stuff? So I've started posting something. Hey, here's ideas I have. What do you guys want to hear me talk about? Things like that. What do you guys want me to read? That's what I just did recently. So I just, try new things. I thought maybe oversaturation might be a thing. Maybe I'm putting out too much content in too short of a time, not giving things enough time to breathe. So I said, maybe oversaturation. Let's go down. Maybe go down one less video per month. So I'm trying new things. And here's the thing: is a lot of people are like, oh, don't let things like this, dictate what you do on the channel. Guys, it's not that. It's not that. It's just I would love to keep reaching a bigger audience just because it gets more people to read. That's the goal of this channel, getting more people to read. So it isn't, oh, I've got to get this many views or this many subscribers. It's not that. It's just your channel doesn't reach new eyeballs if your channel doesn't continue to grow. And I would love to get more people to get interested in stuff like The First Law, things like the Red Rising, some things that maybe aren't, as easy to get people to read as Lord of the Rings or Wheel of Time is, So it's just wanting to introduce some of these lesser known series that I think that I've tried pushing over the last 3 years to other people. So that's really what it is. But hey, channel growth is what it is. And I always say, look, I know that some channels out there would kill for that kind of growth in 1 month or that kind of views in 1 month. So I'm not trying to sound like that. I'm just saying, gauging it against previous data. Look, guys, I work in data. It's hard for me not to do this. I got to. It's just it. And I always like to be transparent with you guys, let you guys know how the channel's doing, how the health of the channel is. And right now, it's like, But, hey, the Wheel of Time stuff is kind of keeping me afloat, so I got to thank Madison for helping me do those videos. Let's talk about some of my most popular content for the month. Now, I did 18 videos in the month of November. That's about normal. I think that's about the normal rate, 4 to 5 per week. So you want to know what the most popular video on the channel was for the month? I know you're going to be so shocked when I tell you it was a Kindle video, right? The new Kindle Paperwhite, 24,000 views. That was one I didn't plan to do, but I did go ahead and upgrade my wife's, and I got so many messages, emails, all that stuff. People wanting to know, hey, I need to know from you if this is worth, upgrading, if this is worth buying, things like that. So sure, I'll go ahead and do that. And hey, again, I think that the Kindle's a great device, and I don't have any problem. Look how much media I have. It's not one of those things that people are like a fear that it means that, oh, you're not going to buy real media anymore. No, I'm stupid. I just decided to buy it on 2 platforms, physical and digital now, because yeah. But collecting is what collecting is. October book haul, those always do well. 13,000 views. My opportunity to thank you guys for sending me things. My opportunity to show you guys what I decided to treat myself to once in a while. And again, to push to you guys that digital books count in a book haul. I'm going to keep doing that. And so do coffee mugs. Coffee mugs count, and Funko Pops. Anything that you would put in your, on your bookshelves. I think these things all count for a book haul, but that's just me. But I know some of you guys are like, oh, Funko Pops. but hey, it is what it is. Favorite book ones of a series. Now, this one was voted on by you. That's 13,000 views. That's one of those where I said, here's 5 content ideas I have. What do you guys want me to talk about? That was the one that you guys picked. And I think the only real criticism I got of that video was that everything I picked was really popular. And I'm like, well, it is the best book ones, and you think about it, those series are usually... Here's the kind of pushback I've been getting for that. When you say, oh, well, something's just too popular. I mean, look, guys, it's popular for a reason. That's like saying, oh, well, I used to love Metallica, but when they got popular, I just couldn't like them anymore. I've never been that guy. I mean, look, I was reading, Song of Ice and Fire 20 years before, or I guess about 10 years before it was adapted on HBO, and I didn't be like, oh, well, I don't like it anymore because now it's popular. I mean, that's just never been the way that I am. But yeah, if some things on there are a little too popular for you, I mean, look, a lot of the stuff that I read on this channel comes from recommendations, and I'm not going to get a lot of recommendations for stuff that's just ho-hum. And I'm sorry, I don't read a lot of independent authors or things like that. So I'm not going to have any outside of the box probably things that you're probably wanting to hear about in there. So that's always going to be the pitfall with a video like that. The As the Wheel Turns, that's the show that me and Matt are doing. It's a after show for the Amazon adaptation. We're going to be doing an episode per episode of the show and kind of talk about it. I guess not really spoilers for this. We do spoilers for that show, but what we do is we talk about kind of the differences between that and what happened in the book, what we liked, what we didn't like, but we don't spoil anything past what has happened on the show yet. So you don't have to worry about us spoiling the end of the book or spoiling book 7 for you. We're never going to do that. But it's always fun. It's always fun to talk about that because. Guys, talking with Madison like that, it's made me really remember why I love Wheel of Time in the first place. Like when I talked about my Wheel of Time wish list for season 1, that was 9,000 views. That was when I really believed, right before the show came out, all these rumors of it was going to have all of book 1 and book 2. Now that I'm watching the show, I'm like, I'll be surprised if they finish book 1, guys, but I can see what they're doing. They're pulling things. They pulled some dialogue from, book 3. They're going to be pulling some of the White Tower stuff from book 2. I see what they're doing, and I think it's a great, great plan, what they've got concocted there. So that video is spoilers for books 1 and 2. It's just kind of talking about all the things that I hope to see. So I guess when I do my wish list for season 2, I can just, just do a clip show and show that video again. And then some videos that I really, really liked that didn't do that well on the channel that I want to talk about. The Dave Grohl Foo Fighters video where I ranked the Foo Fighters album. Again, less than 2,000 views, but I love that band, and I love talking about music, so it's about as close as I can get to an off the books without actually doing an off the books. I knew it was a video that not very many people on this channel were going to want to watch. It was just something that I wanted to talk to. Guys, I ran a media podcast before I started doing this, so I talked about all these things. That's what the weekly updates help me do. That's what off the books help me do, is get those demons out so I don't, interrupt all your book reviews by, doing, Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners or something. But I can start doing that. If you guys want me to, I'll be back. But Talk About Nothing with AP Canavan, that got 5,000 views. That's just a treasure, AP is. Because I think about it's kind of similar when I talk to Philip, is that, look, I know that AP and Philip, they're both on a way higher plane of critical thinking than I am. So I think that there's a good counterbalance there. And I just the whole time just sitting thinking, you're out of your element. But hey, it was a really great conversation. I had a great time with it. And, bless his heart, he never made me feel like an idiot. Or bless my heart, he never made me feel like an idiot. So I always do appreciate that. But great, great guy and a great, great channel. Like I said, guys, and you don't even have to watch his stuff if it's something that you like or not, because I'm notorious for not really caring for Name of the Wind. And I watched his hour-long video breaking down the prologue of Name of the Wind. I was like, damn it, he's making me think I need to read this again. So, guy's great at what he does. So, I enjoyed having him on there. I want to start doing at least one Talk About Nothing per month again, because I think that those are just so much fun, and it gives me an opportunity to help get a light on younger booktubers, people that are just kind of getting started, still trying to find an audience. If I can give them a boost any way I can, and plus I love to talk to other content creators, other book lovers. I mean, it's why I'm here, right? So if there's any channel goals for November's, guys, I just want to finish the year strong, have the decks cleared, because we are starting another read-along in January. That's Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn by Mr. Tad Williams. You might have heard of him, and that's one that I'm nervous excitement about. I'll get into that. I'm going to do a why I decided to read on that and kind of tell that story if you haven't heard it for 400 times, because I've told it about 400 times on this channel, but I will tell those who have missed it, and I will hope that I can get some more of you to jump on board with us and read those big old beefy books with us in January. Well, actually starting in January. We're due January, February, March, April, but we'll get into that. I'll continue the Wheel of Time coverage with Madison. Like I said, we're going to do one video for every episode, and they think the last episode is on Christmas Eve, so a couple days after Christmas probably we'll have that one out, and then we're going to do a season wrap up, I think, before the end of the year, and maybe like a predictions kind of show or something like that. I mean, if I can get to enough Wheel of Time content creators that I like to, I don't know. That's just kind of in the works still. Got some feelers out. I was thinking about trying to have like a roundtable episode and have more than just me and Madison on there to get other people to kind of bounce some ideas around and things like that. But again, these are just ideas that I have. But yeah, the channel goal for the year was 50,000, so I stopped having a goal for that. Everything now is just kind of a bonus, you know. So things were slowing down, like I said. You talked about the growth there. Yeah, this is the biggest audience ever gets, guys. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful or anything like that. I'm definitely not. But it's just one of those things. I'm going to keep doing what I do because I do this because I love it, and I want to share the love of reading with everyone and encourage others to pick up a book once in a while. So, guys, that was my month of November. What did you read in November? What was your book of the month for November? Drop in the comments and let me know, and I will talk to you there.